Parker Grotehouse, who will kick it away for the Noles. And there on cue is Bam Knight. And away we go from Raleigh. With NC State and Florida State, there'll be no return, and the Wolfpack will go to work at its 25. Well, and when you talk about NC State, the Wolfpack is 4-3, not only overall, but also in the ACC, and that is Dave Doran in his 8th season here in Raleigh. 51 wins tonight, and you heard Jordan say a moment ago, he's got a chance to tie Dick Sheridan tonight with a win. And here is Bailey Hockman, the son of a coach, Roddy, getting ready to make the start. And for Hockman, it's his 7th career start here for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, you heard Dave Doran say to Larisha he had his best week of practice. Well, he's coming off of his best game of his career. Can he duplicate that against his former team?
See Angeline, the tight end, in motion. The first down give is to Knight, and he gets knocked back right away by that Florida State front. And Janarius Robinson, number 11, the first guy in the gold helmet to greet Bam Knight. Wolfpack averaging just under 400 yards a ball game offensively. 9th in the ACC as the weekend began. Here's Hockman, a quick throw and toward a first down, and the catch made by Thayer Thomas.
It's a nice job of Bailey Hockman seeing that the defense went with the back, coming back to the short side of the field, making a quick decision and a nice throw.
Here's another one on the 3rd and short play, and again they find Thomas, that time to the boundary side, Roddy.
Yeah, a little tempo. Kind of caught Florida State off guard, kept him in that same man-to-man coverage, and they just allowed Thayer Thomas to pick up a couple of yards with some nice blocks up front.
Thomas tied for 2nd with 16 catches coming in. Emeka Mezi leads the Wolfpack with 27. Very quickly, NC State's got a first down. Hockman again, and a catch in traffic, and that's a Mezi's first grab, and he squeezes the ball in traffic with Amari Gaynor, Florida State's leading tackler, hanging all over him. And here's NC State really running it up the gearbox on this opening possession. And a whistle will stop play here. And looks like procedure against the Wolfpack. Stuart Mullins is the referee tonight.
Offense.
And Grant Gibson, the center, guilty of the procedure call. Second down and 1 for NC State. I guess you can go too fast sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so. When your center's the one that gets called for procedure, I think that would meet the definition of too fast.
Yep. Here's Hockman, another quick throw. Another catch for Thomas. Thayer Thomas has been the guy right out of the gate here.
He certainly has, and Emeka Mezi was in the slot as well. They've gone to that slot position constantly.
Here's Hockman in trouble, and Robinson's going to sack him. Kando was back there, but Janarius Robinson will get credit for his 3rd sack of the year.
Well, watch up the middle. There's a little bit of room that Bailey Hockman could have moved up into. There's not a lot, but it would have prevented the amount of yardage that he lost on the sack, as Robinson and Kando both coming over the top basically met at the quarterback.
2nd down and 20 now. Back off the Wolfpack 42. And another catch by Thomas near midfield with Gaynor in there. Level of difficulty keeps going north on Thayer Thomas here.
That was like a trick shot catch. He bobbled it twice with a guy hanging on his back and was still able to make the catch. But they've gone to those slots with every reception so far, because they're going to get a little check with me.
So now they go to 2-by-2 in this particular situation. Here's Hockman again, being flushed from the pocket. Almost went down, kept the play alive. It's complete. Thomas inside the 25. Roddy, he moved up in the pocket that time.
What an excellent play by Bailey Hockman. His pocket awareness, doesn't see anything early, and then climbs in the pocket. And when he does, the linebackers come up. They're in zone coverage. Thayer Thomas, sitting in the middle of that cover two, is able to find some space and a big first down conversion.
You see Ricky Person digging it out on the ground for State. in his first carry of the ball game. Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, Larisha spoke of a moment ago, Roddy. It looks like he and Dave Dorn are on the same page. They want another fast start like they had last Friday night against Miami.
And against the Florida State team that has been struggling and that has started fast themselves, it becomes even more important, especially when you have a team with the opt-outs that you've had earlier this week and some of the adversity that they face. You want to test them early to see if they're interested in playing. 10th
play of the drive, and this is Person again. And he keeps driving toward the 10. Emmett Rice was the first guy to get to Person.
Wes, as they've crept closer to the goal line, we've seen more of these runs. It's been an offensive line that shuffled a little bit, but had some success against Miami last week.
Here's a quick toss. Person going to work on the edge. Trying to find a seam at the 5 and taken down at the 1. Marker on the play. 15-yard penalty, and this is a big one against Joe Sculthorpe. Well, starting fast, not a problem last Friday night. Finishing the job was for Dave Dorn, and they wanted to make this a priority. Fast start, but also strong finish tonight against Florida State.
Something that they talked about all week coming into the game, and Dave Dorn mentioned it to us as well, that it's going to be really important for them down the stretch.
Bam Knights come back in the ball game. You see the 1st and 20 now after the penalty. Hockman to throw. He's perfect so far and remains that way. Catch inside the 5 and a touchdown. Emeka Emezi picks up his 4th score of the year, Roddy.
How good has he been this year? I mean, the contested catches that he's made down the stretch, but then it's just the strength, the ability to come back on a curl route, catch the football, break the tackle of a very good corner on Asante Samuel, makes another guy miss down the field. That's Hamson Nasruddin, who we're seeing for the first time this season, makes him miss, gets into the end zone, and is able to score the first touchdown of the game.
So Emezi, the touchdown catch. Hockman's perfect, 8 for 8 to start the ball game. The point after by Dunn is good, and NC State marches 75 yards in a dozen plays to lead 7-0 in Raleigh. Well, Bailey Hockman perfect on the opening drive, Roddy, and Emeka Emezi was covering the last 21 for the Wolfpack.
Emeka Emezi has been one of the resurgent stars of this team. Was really good for him a couple years ago. Had a tough year last year, but has really been good, and that was a fantastic individual effort on the back end of that reception.
Travis Jay back in the lineup, by the way, for Florida State, and he'll return the kicks here tonight. And here is Jay back in the ball game off the 5 and finds a spot just shy of the 20, but can go no further. And Florida State will start inside its 20, Larisha.
But yeah, this week has been a really difficult week for Florida State. We saw many departures. Marvin Wilson, Devontae Love-Taylor, they will miss the rest of the season due to injury. Also, James Blackman, the quarterback, and Tamarion Terry, they are no longer with the program. Blackman deciding to transfer. Well, when we spoke with head coach Mike Norvell, you know, he just said he fully understands the situation surrounding James, and anyone can get hurt. Regardless of what happened, they have to focus on their guys who are on the sideline and practice.
All right, Jay-Sean Corbin going to get the ball on the first carry for Florida State. And he works tonight in a battery that features Queen Creek, Arizona's Chubba Purdy, of those quarterbacking Purdies. Roddy?
It was funny talking to offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham, saying that out at Perry High School in Queen Creek, the Purdies really made it, as you're going to get a wildcat look from Florida State early in this game.
Yeah, Ja'Kai Douglas has come in. He got the handoff from Jay-Sean Corbin, but a marker down. And the penalty is on Bavian Johnson, who starts tonight at right guard. And when I say the old guy of the line, I'm not kidding tonight. Fifth. You see the Noles have been sidetracked by flags as well, leading the ACC in penalty yards per game. And here is Corbin cracking the 20 toward the 22. Very quickly, Roddy, the offensive line tonight, a redshirt freshman at left tackle, Darius Washington. True freshman Thomas Schrader, left guard. Maurice Smith, redshirt freshman at center. Johnson's a fifth-year senior, and there's Robert Scott, 52, a true freshman.
So 4 first or second-year players and a fifth-year senior, not to mention a freshman quarterback. This is got Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator for NC State, licking his chops.
3rd down and 9 for Florida State, who it's under 39% on 3rd down. Here's a throw on the perimeter to Keyshawn Helton, and he will be tracked down before the 30. Yard or so shy of the 1st down. It'll be 4th down for Florida State. So a 3 and out for the Wolfpack on defense.
Well, they were aided by the false start penalty that moved Florida State back a little bit. I actually like the series of play calls for Florida State. You go with the quick tunnel screen on 3rd down that almost got you the first. A couple of handoffs to get Chubba Purdy's feet wet. I like the way they started off. Didn't have the success that they would have wanted, but you're able to get your quarterback into the game a little bit.
Thayer Thomas, who averages 16.3 yards a punt return, but has only had 3 returns on the year. And he waits on the punt of Mastromano. And Thomas will play on a fair catch right at the 31-yard line. NC State 7, Florida State nothing. We continue from Raleigh in a moment.
Is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Well, Janarius Robinson gets a couple of them. Marvin Wilson got one in there. Lost on opening night to Georgia Tech, but they've held the lead for block kicks this season, has Florida State. But right now, Noles playing uphill. Bailey Hockman was perfect on the opening drive, and then the defense backed him up, going 3 and out. And now, here comes the Wolfpack from its 31, leading 7-0, halfway through quarter 1. And Bam Knight stretching for about 3 off the right side.
Bailey Hockman off to a great start. 8 for 8 on that first drive for 93 yards and a touchdown. That as good as the former Florida State quarterback could have been on the first drive. I mean, he was incredible, eluding defenders, making accurate throws.
2nd 7. And once again, Knight stacked up at around the 35-yard line. 3rd down coming up. Emmett Rice, by the way, on the stop. Well, don't forget, next Saturday our coverage of ACC football starts right here. It all happens in the huddle, folks. It says it right there on the card. Next Saturday at 10 a.m., Jordan Cornette, E.J. Manuel, Eric McClain, and Coach Rick give you a full breakdown of what lies ahead. And then Roddy and I will join you from Durham with Wake and Duke at high noon next Saturday. Another full weekend of ACC football. Been some kind of Saturday already. 3rd and 6 and Hockman. Quick throw. Boy, Thomas has been everywhere, Roddy, for Bailey Hockman so far.
They're playing so far off of the slots, particularly on a 3rd and short. That's an easy pitch and catch without a guy dropping underneath. I mean, Thayer Thomas, all he does is run a quick slant. It's an easy delivery for Bailey Hockman. They're going to have to start to play closer on these slot receivers, especially when you get to that 2nd and 3rd and short.
The left-hander's gone over 100 yards already in the ball game, and he's just on his 2nd drive of work. There's a play fake. Hockman got to move now. He will shoot it down the field and just beyond the reach of Devin Carter. First incomplete ball.
Watch how easy this is for Bailey Hockman. In rhythm, there's nobody in the throwing lane, just delivers it. Travis Jay comes up and makes the tackle, but Jay was playing about 10 yards off. So if you're going to prevent that, you either need to drop a defender underneath that slant, or the safety has to play closer that he can drive on that ball and break it up before it's caught.
Yep. You see Dennis Briggs kind of lining up in the spot that Marvin Wilson had. He and Robert Cooper playing in the inside of that defensive front for Florida State here on 2nd and the full 10 for Hockman. We'll pivot again. And he'll they'll just sail this away. Incomplete. Over the head of Knight, who was the closest receiver to the ball that was clearly thrown out of bounds. So 3rd and 10 coming up for Hockman. Bailey Hockman comes in just under 800 yards. Now, almost closer to 900 yards and 6 scores. But it's a different Bailey Hockman than the one that started the year, Roddy. I mean, if you watch the Wake tape and the Virginia tape, it's a different guy altogether, seemingly. Just from a composure standpoint, an understanding standpoint.
Let's not forget that Tim Beck's a new offensive coordinator, so he's gotten more comfortable in this offense.
Here's Hockman throwing a 3rd down ball that is caught. Devin Carter, 1st down inside the 45 in Florida State territory.
They got one-on-one coverage, and it's just the deep out. Jarian Jones not able to drive on the play, and Devin Carter easily picks up the 1st down.
Hockman to work again. Another throw on the perimeter. Another catch by Carter. Jarian Jones there again to shove him out. Marker down, though. And it's a hold on Florida State. If I'm reading the body language of Stuart Mullins the right way.
Carter pass. Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. And an automatic. 1st down.
There we have it. So Mike Norvell's club tagged with the infraction. Ball sitting at the 34. Knights in the backfield. Hockman loads, throws for the end zone and broken up. Ball intended for a Mezzi, and Asante Samuel was there. Flag down on the play, and this might be against Florida State as well.
Number 26, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic. 1st down.
What do you see, Roddy?
Well, it's a double move, and there's a lot of hand fighting going on between both players. And yeah, once you get hooked around that right arm, once Asante Samuel prevents the right arm for a Mezzi of getting up to try and make an effort on that ball, you're going to get the pass interference call. It's tough on Samuel. He did everything right until he kind of got tangled up with that right arm, but that is pass interference.
Pretty good matchup between those two. Here's Bam Knight trying to find some running room. Florida State's made it tough on NC State's running game so far. Only a couple of yards there.
They certainly have. It's been impressive, and that's the thing that they're coming in. I mean, Adam Fuller talked to us about just that, having to stop the run.
Trying to get to the edge is Knight, spinning twice, and stopped shy of the 10. Nasruddin is back in action. Hamza back in his home state from Concord, North Carolina. He was the first guy to track down Bam Knight. Cannot tell you what it means for Florida State to have their defensive number 5 on the field.
Mike Norvell almost got emotional in his press conference this week, talking about the joy on Hamza Nasruddin's face, being able to participate like he did this week in practice.
Ricky Person slipped down off the handoff from Hockman. NC State into the red zone where they've been awfully good. 25 of 28. Now we've got an injured player down. That is Joe Skolthorpe for the Wolfpack. And we will step aside. Under 4 to go as they tend to the Wolfpack senior in the offensive line. And another change in that offensive line for Dave Dorn and offensive coordinator Tim Beck. It's 4th and 1. They're going to hand the ball, and NC State had to break the plane of the 10 to get the first down, and to the 9, and they didn't get it. Florida State makes a tremendous effort defensively, and Stephen Dix, the freshman, looked like he rolled in there, Roddy.
He certainly
Watch
did.
32.
This is made by Robert Cooper and Fabian Lovett up the middle, and there on the back end it's Janarius Robinson that comes and finishes it off. But the 2 tackles, Lovett and Cooper, being able to create penetration allowing Robinson to come in from the backside and make the play. It's an excellent job by this front of Florida State that the NC State coaches told us is the strength of this team. And that's the biggest thing that they said they were going to have to do is control this big front.
Well, and now all of a sudden here are the Noles taking over at their 10 after a defensive stand headed by that combination of Cooper and Lovert that Roddy told you about. And Chubba Purdy going to run with it on first down. And looked like Peyton Wilson got in there. Sure he did. Wolfpack's leading tackler was 65 on the year. Fun to visit with Peyton Wilson yesterday. Sophomore red shirt from Hillsborough Orange. Second down and 7 for Purdy in Florida State. That's Ja'Kai Douglas in motion. And Jashawn Corbin runs right into Wilson again. Falls forward. And we've got an injured Seminole on the ground too, so play will be stopped here. And is that Darius Washington? Hard to tell.
I think you're right, Les. It looked to me like it was.
Yep, it is. Yep. 76, the redshirt freshman from Pensacola. We told you how young they were, Sands, Baby, and Johnson tonight in that offensive line. They lost Devontae Love Taylor to the injury. Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham sharing with us. The loss of Love Taylor is a critical loss. It's a critical loss not only of what he does on the field, Roddy, but the leadership factor. And they spoke of both he and Marvin Wilson in that light with this football team.
They certainly did. And when you have that experience and you lose it, obviously, not only does your cohesiveness take a hit, but the steadying force on that offensive line is not in the game in this against NC State. And this is already a thin group. And it's going to get even thinner depending on what happens with Darius Washington, at least for this next play, but a good sign that he's able to walk off.
So Washington will able to stride off. Quick chance for us to remind you an ACC men's soccer tournament starts tomorrow right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. It's quarterfinals Sunday at the Wake Med Soccer Park with Clemson and Virginia Tech starting us at noon. And then Notre Dame, North Carolina at 2 o'clock. And then the afternoon session, later in the afternoon rather, Virginia, Wake Forest at 4. And then Pittsburgh, Valentine Noel, one of the best players in the ACC, as the Panthers and Duke at 6 o'clock. All right here on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. And you get a look at 39-year-old Mike Norvell, who went 38-15 at Memphis. And a good run there of 4 seasons. 3rd and 3 for Purdy. And a sliding catch made. And Ontario Wilson with the grab and a first down for Florida State inside the 25 at about the 22. '22nd catch of the year for Wilson.
Yeah, they got the freshman quarterback on the move, did Mike Norvell, and you see what he did at Memphis. Had an incredible run as the head coach there. Was one of the most exciting offensive minds in all of college football. With the Memphis Tigers and with Arizona State. He's looking to bring that here, and he's doing it with some Wildcat.
Yep. Corbin, and this is Ja'Kai Douglas. Nice run on first down for Douglas. What, second snap of Wildcat so far out of Kenny Dillingham?
Yeah, and I would expect that we're going to see more and more of it over the course of the game, just to give this NC State team more to think about. Chubba Purdy's obviously going to be a little limited in what he's going to be able to do with all the time he missed, breaking his collarbone during camp, just getting in July. He's going to be a little limited. So what do you do to make NC State think you do things like this, motioning him out and going back to Wildcat?
This is Corbin now to take the snap. And he will keep it, but not much there. Boy, the Wolfpack met it head on. Terrell Dawkins, who has really been coming on for NC State lately.
He's one of those guys that flashes. And Terrell Dawkins, the redshirt freshman, has had some Really nice plays. You saw him there, able to get in the backfield and make the play. That front with Aleem McNeil, Terrell Dawkins, Savion Jackson, those guys are really talented up front. It's going to be a big challenge for this NC State front.
So here's Purdy now. In the gun on 3rd and 5. He'll escape the pocket, headed for the far side, looking for the first down mark, and he'll be taken down a yard shy. Isaiah Moore, number 1 in the red jersey, along with Cecil Powell on the stop.
Got a good shot of the athleticism of Chubba Purdy there, making Peyton Wilson miss in the open field, and now Mike Norvell has a decision to make. If I'm him, I'm going for it. You got to be aggressive in situations like this. It looks like he's leaving the offense on the field.
They have brought in Preston Daniel, kind of like a wingback over on that right side with McDonald, the tight end. And you see Corbin is the running back. Corbin going to take the snap, and he will be stacked up, but I think he fell forward far enough, Roddy, to get the first down on the final play of the period. NC State scored on their opening drive, gave it away on downs, and Florida State has it when quarter 2 starts next.
Wilson and Val Martin, that combined. Deshaun Corbin tries to spin out of it, but it looks like he was just short. At least that's what was declared. The spot is under review now, and we'll see if it stands. But Wes, it looked like from what we've seen on those that if nothing else, it's going to stand.
Yeah, and if it does, NC State will have the ball at the Seminole 31 as we start quarter 2 here in Raleigh, and each team will have given it to the other on downs. Here's referee Stuart Mullins.
The field stands.
So there you have it. Wolfpack will have the ball at the Seminole 31 in a 7-0 lead. NC State went 75 yards in a dozen plays on the opening drive of the ball game to take a 7-0 lead. Florida State went 3 and out. NC State then marched at 10 plays. Roddy gave it back on downs, and now the Noles have given it back on 7 snaps on downs.
I still like the call from Mike Norvell to go for it in that situation. He's an offensive head coach, an aggressive head coach, and no matter how much your team is struggling, you have to stick with who you are. So I like the decision by Mike Norvell.
Ricky Person in the backfield. That's Thomas on the orbit for the Pack. Thayer Thomas has been busy early tonight, and he'll get a couple of yards here before Amari Gaynor is in on the mix for Florida State. Great recruiting story about Thayer Thomas. Dave Doran said, I went to Heritage High School to watch a guy who had already committed to us to play, and I saw this young guy making all the plays and started asking around about him. And Thomas, who played baseball, and was given an opportunity to be part of the football program, and he's turned out to be quite a find, almost on a second chance, if you will, in the recruiting process as Ricky Person bangs away. Sometimes those things happen. Emmett Rice made the tackle, but Thomas, a great story. Redshirt junior from Raleigh. Just kind of a Swiss Army knife, if you will. You see the 7 catches already in the ball game.
And if you're not careful, he'll throw it for a touchdown as well as he did a week ago.
3rd and 3 now. Hockman sets, shoots it, caught. Emeka Emezi.
It's just a deep over route from Emezi. He beats Jarvis Brownlee to the inside, works his way across, and Florida State did a nice job of defending the pick route to the play side, but Emeka Emezi dragging from the backside, able to get open, and it's a nice job of Bailey Hockman being able to find him.
Already the touchdown catch tonight for Emezi. 1st and goal. Hockman to the end zone and overshoots Thayer Thomas. Brendan Gant had come over in coverage for Florida State. Roddy, what do you see in red zone wise with the Seminoles? They are 13th in the ACC in red zone defense.
Well, I think just overall, the defense has not held up its end of the bargain. This was a defense that, if you look on a yards per play basis, was a top 5 defense a year ago. And if you look this year, they're 15th in the conference in way too many categories, including yards per play allowed.
Quick throw, Hockman, and the touchdown. Thomas gets the reward. A big night already. Now he's got the TD catch, and it's his 2nd of the year.
Well, they blitz the nickel, and it's one-on-one with Brendan Gann, who's playing about 10 yards off, and Thayer Thomas just able, once again, it's a little slant route over the middle. It's an easy pitch and catch with a blitz coming, and NC State gets on the board.
10-yard score. 5 plays, 31 yards, 102 seconds for the TD. Aaron Owens, our producer, Adam Bryant, our director, and our great ACC Network crew, Wes Durham. Great to have you with us for ACC Network Primetime Football presented by Geico, and pretty good start for the Wolfpack. Travis J will let that bounce in the end zone, and the Noles will start from their 25-yard line. And let's take a look at our New York drive recap, Roddy.
Well, they got the ball after stopping Florida State on a 4th down. You see the over route to Emeka Emezi, and then it's Thayer Thomas one-on-one against Brendan Gann, able to win that and rock the baby to sleep. Rock him to sleep, Wes. It's past my bedtime. I got done doing that right before we came on the air.
So Hockman off to a great start. Thomas 8 catches, 78 yards and a score. And now the Noles find themselves down a couple of scores. And Chubba Purdy in his first career start to work. And Ontario Wilson to catch. And he'll squeeze off 7 yards before he got shoved out of bounds by Peyton Wilson of the Wolfpack. We had a great visit yesterday with Wilson and Bailey Hockman together on a Zoom call. And we covered everything from high school football in North Carolina and Georgia to video games, and Larisha had them pinned down on movies. And there's a 2nd and short play, and Jayshawn Corbin brought down. We'll have 3rd down coming up, Larisha.
Yeah, we did have that conversation with Peyton, and I kind of went back with him because he was talking about playing video games, and I told him I'm competitive. I can get him on the NBA 2K. I don't think he was trying to hear me then.
I think you were. We were stirring up the competitive juices when Peyton was waiting to visit with us, and we had Bailey Hockman telling us how he tells everybody in the Wolfpack locker room how good high school football is in Georgia, and then Peyton just barged right onto the Zoom call. It was fun time with the teammates. Here's a 3rd and 1 in the Wildcat, and Corbin trying to pick it up, and will, and more. Out toward midfield goes Jayshawn Corbin. Daniel Joseph, the Penn State grad transfer, finally the stop.
Well, they finally have some success with that Wildcat look, and you see Jayshawn Corbin's ability to make people miss in the hole. So much of their success this year, Florida State on offense, has come with Jordan Travis making plays from the quarterback position. So how do you duplicate that with Jordan Travis out? You put the running back there, and you run a lot of the same quarterback runs that you did with Travis.
14-yard run. NC State's doubled the number of snaps on Florida State, and that ball got deflected on the way to Wilson. 2nd and 10 coming up. So Chubba Purdy's first career start tonight is turned into a little bit of the backside of Kenny Dillingham's playbook, Roddy. I mean, we're seeing Wildcat, we're seeing 2-back stuff.
We're going to see a lot of it today, and what we've seen a couple of times was those field hitches that they want to be able to complete.
But Damian Webb has come in the ball game, but the catch made that time by Keyshawn Helton, and the Wolfpack right there again. Drake Thomas, sophomore, again from that Heritage High School program in the Raleigh area, the stop.
And Wes, with the youth up front and the youth at quarterback, we talked to the Florida State coaches about how pared down the playbook was for this week. And Kenny Dillingham really said, I have less in this week than I have my entire career. And I think we're starting to see some of the limitations of what they've got in because of what they're dealing with the youth up front and at quarterback.
Noles are 50% on third down so far tonight. Purdy. Catch made by Wilson. And Ontario Wilson will have enough, I believe, for the first down. Nope, just short. Fourth down.
And again, you've already gone for it once in your own territory. I'd expect Mike Norvell, especially down 2 scores, to continue to be aggressive and to go for it again here. The question is, what do you go with? They've had some success rolling Chubba Purdy out and throwing a comeback, a short comeback to the sticks. They've tried to go to Wildcat a number of times and have really only had success the one time. So what do they decide to go with? Looks like it's Wildcat again.
A Wildcat with Jashawn Corbin. Tries the right side and will have it. Corbin looked like he was in trouble on about the 3rd stride, Roddy.
Well, it's just a stretch play. That outside zone decides to bounce it all the way outside. And the thing about going zone in these situations is even if you get some penetration, if you're able to find a seam, an athlete like Jashawn Corbin can knife through and get you a couple of yards, which he did. So Florida State able to convert.
First and 10. Purdy. And he will throw it away. There's a flag down around the 31-32 yard line. Joshua Pierre-Louis.
Defense. Number 24. 10-yard penalty for the previous
that's Malik
spot,
Dunlap, the big 6'4", 220-pound redshirt sophomore at corner. Guilty of the hold here. So first and 10 after the mark off to the 29 of NC State. Roddy, you get the feeling that down 2 scores, it's almost imperative the Noles get something here. Hockman's played so well in their first 3 possessions.
Yeah, from a momentum standpoint and a confidence standpoint, I think it's important for them to move the ball, but certainly ending in points and a touchdown would be huge.
Trying to get to the perimeter, LaDamian Webb. A transfer from Jones College in Mississippi, originally from Opelika, Alabama. Number 3 junior college running back a year ago, about a yard. There's a look at Webb, who's pretty sturdy, listed at 5'8", 190, but we noted last Saturday looks like he might be a little bigger than that. Packs a pop when he gets to the corner. So Corbin back in the ball game to spell Webb. In trouble, and boy, took a big lick. And NC State ran that one all the way to the edge with Val Martin, I think. Marker down on the play.
There is no foul. When ineligible player downfield. Pass was incomplete.
So the flag will be picked up here.
Yeah, Wes, it looked like they were trying to set up a screen to Jashawn Corbin. NC State sniffed it out and was just able to string it out. And you have to think, if you're Florida State, this would be a long field goal. So it's really, you got to treat it as if it's 4-down territory if you're Chubba Purdy. If it's not there across the sticks to get the first down, get a positive gain to give your coach a decision on 4th down.
10th play of the drive here for Florida State's 3rd and 11. And catch is made, and then Warren Thompson dropped it. Incomplete. So Thompson's got 4 grabs on the year. Couldn't hang on there.
This is what you can't do with the freshman quarterback. Your offense is limited. He's doing his best out there, and you can't drop the football when he delivers an accurate pass. And looked like Warren Thompson was going to make the first guy miss and maybe have the ability to knife it up, as we're going to get a long field goal attempt.
Yeah, it looks like a 48-yard try here for Parker Grotehouse. snap spot. And the kick is good. So a 48-yard field goal puts Florida State on the board. Roadhouse kicked a 48-yard field goal. And Wolfpack set to get the ball back here. We'll see if they, and to the 24 before he's brought down. Don't forget, every Saturday we got a bunch of ACC football for you on ACC Network, and we start with the huddle. Jordan Cornette gathers E.J. Manuel, Eric McLean, Mark Rick around. They'll give you full breakdowns, even sometimes some on-site previews from my partner. Maybe we get one of those next week on the huddle, prior to Wake Forest visit to the Horseshoe on the West Campus in Durham to see the Blue Devils, who, by the way, have a bye week for Coach Cutt. Here is Bailey Hockman, and NC State going from their 24-yard line, or its 24-yard line, I should say. Zonovan Knight in the backfield. Hockman in trouble again, trying to find some room. Now we'll run with it, and does a pretty nice job. Roddy steps out after a pretty nice gain.
It's the underrated part of Bailey Hockman's game is his ability to create. And just watch here as he gets pressured. Florida State's got a pretty good shot on him, a couple of them, and he just maneuvers around a couple of defenders is able to get down the field for a gain of 8.
Yep, 2nd down and 2. We're almost to the midway point of quarter 2 in Raleigh. 11-point lead for the Wolfpack. And here's Knight. And he will get to the 37 before Travis Jay makes the tackle. Larisha.
Well, you guys were talking about Bailey Hockman. When I was talking to him this week, he said his focus was working through his progressions. He wants to do better at that, and also he wants to do better at trusting his O-line, and we've seen him do that so far this game.
Yep. Straight ahead, and this is Knight again. Robert Cooper falls on top of him with Janarius Robinson for Florida State. Well, fast start last week for Hockman. Another good start this Saturday night. That time Florida State got into the backfield, and the wrestling of Derek McClendon, the redshirt freshman from Decatur, Georgia, went to Tucker High School. And he tracked Knight down in the backfield, and Bam wants out, and Persons checked in.
Well, that's the thing that Florida State has done best in this game, stopping the run. And before that play, had done an excellent job. And there, with that, they've averaged 2.2 yards per carry as NC State, and Florida State's been really good up front, getting in the backfield and preventing NC State from getting going on the ground.
Wolfpack's hit 5 of 6 on 3rd down. Hockman again backing up in the pocket, now being flushed way out, and he will sail that ball out of bounds. McClendon again found a rush lane for the Noles, and there is a flag on the play. See what Stuart Mullins has here.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Holding, number 50, offense. Holding, defense. Those fouls offset. 3rd down.
Justin Witt almost took a left hand to the face from referee Mullins. So we'll replay the 3rd and 10.
NC State has not yet gotten Kerry Angeline involved in this game. He's to the slot to the top of the screen. It's a place where Thayer Thomas has had a lot of his success. Let's see if they go to the big tight end here.
Person in the backfield with Hockman. Noles bring 4. Hockman up in the pocket, steps away and dives, but short, I believe. NC State's going to hurry to the line here. Quick throw. This is Porter Rooks, and he'll get the first down against Amari Gaynor. There is a marker down as Rooks, the freshman from Charlotte, made the catch.
Holding, number 88, offense, 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
Wow, Devin Carter.
And this one's pretty obvious. You see Asante Samuel Jr. trying to throw him off, then Devin Carter just slings him around and throws him down. So Samuel got up clapping on that one like there was a chance it wasn't going to be called. That one's called every day of the week.
Yeah, Devin, they're going to call that one. Anytime you drop the guy down to a knee and then sling him into the play that has passed you by, I feel like they're calling that one, Roddy. Here's Trenton Gill. Florida State almost got to that one. And Travis Jay is going to let this roll, and it will be touched up inside the 20 at the Florida State 18. 5:06 to go. We're first half in Raleigh. Presented by Geico. Great to be with Roddy Jones, Larisha Harris, West Durham. NC State 14, Florida State 3. Just ahead of 5 minutes to go in this first half of play. And LaDamian Webb had Isaiah Moore and Peyton Wilson fishing him out on the first play.
Tate Rodemaker making his first appearance in this game too, Wes. The second true freshman quarterback that we've seen. I think the fourth guy we've seen take snaps for Florida State when you include the two running backs. But Kenny Dillingham told us they're going to use Rodemaker in spots as well because of his familiarity with the offense, having enrolled in spring.
LaDamian Webb in the ball game as a running back. Here's Rodemaker to throw, and looking toward Ja'Kai Douglas. Incomplete. So now 2nd and 11 has quickly become 3rd and 11.
That was a weird pass, Wes. I mean, he had Ja'Kai Douglas open on the corner route. I don't know if it just came out of his hand weird, but that ball fell well short. If he drives that ball to the corner, he's got a chance to complete it.
You want to get it in the hands of Douglas, 700-meter runner. So here's 3rd and 11. Pressure coming from the pack, and Wilson the catch, and he is slung around and dropped by Shaheem Battle. But I don't think that's enough for the first down, and Wilson jogs off. Quick series for Tate Rodemaker, 3 and out.
And on that 3rd down, NC State brought pressure, and Florida State did a pretty good job of picking it up. Rodemaker made a quick decision just short of the first down.
So 3 and out it is for the Noles. The Aussie Alex Mastromanno to punt it away. His net average is about 41. And this one to the far side, Thayer Thomas, a fair catch at the 34. 3:40 to go. Wolfpack's got all 3 timeouts when we come back.
The offense, and he has done a fantastic job of scheming up, but also they're a lot healthier on the offensive side of the football, at least until Devin Leary's injury. But the offensive line's been healthier. They've been a year older. They've been healthier at the running back position. But I think Tim Beck deserves a lot of credit for the improvement this year.
Just inside the 35, first down, and this is Person trying to find some room. And man, Emmett Rice not having any of it. Look, the big fella's not going to play the rest of the year. Marvin Wilson, because of an injury, his career ends at Florida State after 39 games. So it's going to be, there's the big man. What a great guy. It's going to be incumbent upon veteran guys like Emmett Rice then to kind of be that on-field leader for this football team. I think he and Janarius Robinson fit that bill. Hockman across the middle, and another catch for Thayer Thomas. This one at midfield and a first down. Thomas took a big shot on the back end too.
Certainly did. It looked like, you know, hitting the back and then maybe contacted the ground pretty hard, but it was a really nice route by Thayer Thomas to get in the middle of the split safeties. A nice throw by Bailey Hockman as well.
He's also tied his career high for receptions in a game here in the first half with 9. From midfield. And here's Person spinning for 6 on first down. Amari Gaynor the tackle.
Watch the safety split and Thayer Thomas right up the middle. So that's a hard hit, and a lot of times you expect the hit from the safety coming from behind you, but you can't really anticipate how bad the ground is going to hurt. That can knock the wind out of you quick.
So we get a timeout with 2:28 to go in this first half. Belongs to Florida State.
Comes back and wins. That Virginia Tech and Miami game was a great game as well. Some really compelling games today.
That is Person. And it'll be third down. Let's see if Florida State takes another timeout here. And they will. By the way, the Sam Howell, Sam Hartman combination today, I think this is pretty good. The two quarterbacks were 61 of 90 for 979 yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Roddy.
It's video game numbers. Video game numbers. Just the ability for UNC. You know, when they were down 21 with like 4 or 5 minutes left in the third quarter, you just knew that they just needed a couple of good things to happen. Just one run, and they were going to get back into it. And man, were they impressive. And the two running backs, again, we talked about them a lot. But then look there at the bottom. Notre Dame handling business after Boston College kept it close early, but Notre Dame really dominated that game down the stretch.
Yeah, big win for Miami. Hurricanes, by the way, outscored the Hokies 22-10 the last 35 minutes of that ball game. By the way, Notre Dame, Brian Kelly's 100th win and their 14th straight victory. And we get a timeout taken now by NC State.
30-second timeout.
So Wolfpack's got 3 and they use 1 here. So Tim Beck will huddle Bailey Hockman up here, Larisha.
Well, I thought I had a connection with Bailey when we were having a conversation via Zoom. You know, I wanted to give a shout out to the left-handed people, but comes to find out he's actually not even left-handed. He's right-handed, but he also considers himself to be ambidextrous. But he said his sister taught him how to write with his right hand, but his parents are actually left-handed, and that's, you know, where he sort of learned how to golf and play football using his left hand. So the connection I thought was there really isn't there.
Yeah, and I know that hurt both you and Wes being true left-handers. Both you guys got excited and then were really disappointed to find out that he's only lefty when playing sports.
Here's Hockman, quick throw out in the flat on the 3rd and 4. And the catch made, Ricky Person. And that'll be enough for the first down as we work our way toward 2 minutes.
We just gave Tim Beck a lot of credit, and he should get a lot here as well. Just sneaking the running back out in the flat. Travis Jay not able to keep up with Ricky Person. Another easy pitch and catch for a 3rd down conversion.
2 minutes to go. There's Thomas on the orbit. Hockman loops again, and that ball's underthrown. And he was trying to go to Kerry Angeli in the tight end that time. First time we'd seen the big tight end transfer from Southern California come into the target.
You see Amari Gaynor was beat. He was fooled on the fake screen to the orbit motion and grabbed Angeline. Said he wasn't able to get downfield. Honestly, though, if Bailey Hockman delivers an accurate ball, it's probably still a touchdown.
Holding against Florida State. So they'll reset the order here for the Wolfpack off the 23. Here's Hockman. And in traffic inside the 5. That's Angeline. You know, when they got toward the red zone, Roddy, they were looking for number 6.
The development of Kerry Angeline has been huge. He was a good player last year, but has really developed this year.
20-yard play there. Here's Hockman calling his own number. And he got tackled out of bounds by Janarius Robinson. There's Mike Norvell burning his last timeout with 94 seconds left. Well, we talk about the value of Kerry Angeline. He's got 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, watch him. He just slips the flat defender and is able to get inside of that cover 3 corner. And Jarian Jones tries to go through his back to dislodge the ball, but the big body of Angelo unable to make the catch.
Yep. So with just 94 seconds to go, Florida State's out of timeouts. Roddy, are they saying here we want to stop the score as opposed to save the clock for whenever we might have the ball for the last minute and a half and change here?
I think Mike Norvell is signaling that he wants the opportunity to have a two-minute offensive chance. You know, if NC State runs the ball here and is able to get the clock down, if they run the ball a couple more times, maybe they're able to run the rest of the clock out.
Right. Yeah.
But I think Mike Norvell is saying, hey, if they are to score on the next play, we want an opportunity. If not, we'll take the stop. But ultimately, we want to save enough time to have that opportunity down the stretch.
And they get the ball to start second half, does Florida State. Here's Hockman. Left side, he'll keep it and score. He's thrown for two, now runs for another here in the first half.
So zone read action. Get the tight end to block. Bailey Hockman easily goes into the end zone.
And with 92 seconds left to go, NC State makes it 20-3. Three touchdowns in 5 first half possessions for the Wolfpack. Here in the point after for Dunn. And it'll be 21-3. So quite a first half for Bailey Hockman. 17 of 20, 193 yards, couple of scores in the air, and now he has run for another. And he's helped NC State to an 18-point lead. Okay, so we've already discussed this left-handed thing with LaRisha, right? Where LaRisha, I was with you. I thought for sure he's going to be left-handed, right? Then we had the exchange with Peyton Wilson, right, Roddy, on the Zoom call yesterday, and we got into high school football, and Hockman and Peyton had a good time going back and forth about North Carolina and Georgia and that kind of thing. And then I got to tell you, Bailey Hockman had the first player visit I've had this year. Kick away, and Travis Jay will bring this back from a yard deep. And Jay, who's gotten back in the lineup, got collared up by Devin Boykin across the way, and with 1:24 to go, there's where Florida State starts, just inside its 20-yard line. I like Kodak. Kodak was a fun part of the call, Roddy.
Well, I would imagine you would. I mean, you spent what, a year and some change until COVID in a basement with a couple of dogs, so you'd enjoy Kodak popping on. But Tate Rodemaker looks like he's going to be the guy to operate this 2-minute offense for Mike Norvell, if indeed Florida State does try and get some points before half.
Well, Tate Rodemaker, who threw for almost 7,000 yards and 74 scores at Valdosta High School in South Georgia. And this is Jayshon Corbin across the 25, but remember now, Knowles with no timeouts. This is a highly accomplished high school quarterback who was recruited by, well, it came down to Florida State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, and Baylor in the recruitment of Tate Rodemaker. And it looks like Savion Jackson is shaken up for the Wolfpack here. So they're out to check on Jackson with 1:09 to go. And Roddy, you were talking earlier about guys like Jackson, McNeil, Joseph, Dawkins. That's a handful for young guys like Purdy and Rodemaker to have to deal with tonight.
Certainly is. This NC State defensive line is a stout unit. It'll be interesting to see what Tony Gibson does with them. Does he decide to bring pressure against a young offensive line and a young quarterback, or does he decide to play safe to try and make the quarterback dink and dunk down the field with no timeouts?
Yeah. And a throw on the perimeter to Corbin, and he'll be tackled out of bounds, but it is a first down at the 30-yard line.
A couple of nice easy throws for Rodemaker to start this drive, and able to get out of bounds there. See how he does as he gets a couple of completions under him and his feet wet in this game a little bit.
See the 3 receivers to the bottom, 4 total in the package. And Rodemaker able to escape here, and he will get out of bounds up near the 47-yard line. 10 seconds off the clock, leaves the Noles with a 45 to go in the first half, and we've got it's Darius Washington who's slow to his feet. Now we were told Purdy was the better runner of the 2 guys who might be taking snaps tonight, but nice move here by Rodemaker.
How about that in the open field? A little sidestep for Peyton Wilson. And Wilson thought, all right, I've got the tall quarterback in my sights, and then Rodemaker hits, what's that, L2, R2? I don't know. I'm not a Madden guy, Wes. You're the Madden guy. What's that, L2 or R2?
I don't know, but Tate Rodemaker's smiling, I can tell you that, because he knows that might be a break from the scouting report on him. So Washington, by the way, is coming off the field under his own power. And, boy, it's been a tough night for Darius. Bavion Johnson also shaken up early. You've had guys in and out kind of in another kind of mix and match in that offensive line. Alex Atkins is handling that group this year for Mike Norvell. Here's Rodemaker in trouble, sacked. Wolfpack got there. Terrell Dawkins again, Roddy. He's had quite a run here in the last 3 ball games.
Yeah, he's had a major impact in this one. He's just able to slip past the center. It looked like Thomas Schrader, and was able to get in the backfield and sack Rodemaker. That pressure up the middle is the hardest one to handle.
Yep. Loss of 7, and that ball got picked off. Tried to go to the far side, and NC State came up with it, and Tyler Baker-Williams.
Well, Tyler Baker-Williams is sitting there. You see his feet in the middle of the field. He's reading this route all the way, just jumps right in front of the pass. Wyatt Rector was the intended target, and Baker-Williams completely read the true freshman like a book.
Yep. So the interception to Tyler Baker-Williams gives the Wolfpack the ball with 9 seconds left. And the bone makes its first appearance.
I like the takeaway bone. That's a good look.
NC State with the ball at the 44 here, 9 seconds left. Wolfpack not going to take a knee. Hockman throws down the field toward a Mezzi, and that will be the final play up as we get ready to start half 2, and the Wolfpack will kick it away to the Noles. And Travis Jay will wait on the boot as the second half is underway, and Jay will bring it out 5 yards deep. And Travis Jay back in the lineup, crosses the 20, and let's check with Larisha, who chatted with Mike Norvell.
Told me that the biggest takeaway from the first half is the lack of offensive movement. He said they have to try to find that balance in the run and the pass game, and playing with so many young guys, it's a little difficult right now. So his message during halftime was just, hey, focus on the one play that's in front of you so that you can get the job done, and then maybe they can find that offensive rhythm.
All right, well, we saw both Chubba Purdy, who's making his first career start, Tate Rodemaker, and we saw some Jayshon Corbin in the Wildcat too.
We saw,
and look how we're opening the second half.
We saw a ton of guys taking snaps. Chubba Purdy back in to start it off.
Yep. With Corbin, Purdy going to fire downfield. And Ontario Wilson, the intended receiver, but out of bounds.
Wes, I like the fact that they come out with a double move to start the third quarter. Chubba Purdy launches his first one down the field, and Ontario Wilson actually makes the catch just a foot out of bounds. It's good coverage downfield by Shaheen Battle.
So second down and 10 off the 21 for the Noles. And here is Corbin, and Isaiah Moore got a hand in. And it'll be third down coming up after the tackle by the Wolfpack linebacker. So Chubba Purdy, only 29 yards on 9 throws.
Game plan was pretty conservative when he was in the game, Wes, and I think it's by design, this score line. If they're going to move the ball, it's got to be on the ground, because we've seen the limitations in the pass game.
Yep. Only a couple third down conversions for the Noles in the first half. Purdy going to try and pick one up here running, and we'll get it. And a marker down on the play. Chubba Purdy marked to the 35. We'll see what we have here from referee Stuart Mullins. We have a conversation before we have an announcement.
Personal foul, face mask, number 55, offense.
Wow.
Half the distance to the goal.
Dante Lucas against Daniel Joseph, Roddy.
Yeah, you see him, he was the left guard, and I originally thought it was going to be a holding, but you saw the face turn, and that was a surefire holding, a face mask penalty. Good call by the officials on that one.
Thomas Schrader, by the way, started the ball game at left guard. The sophomore from the IMG Academy, Dante Lucas, in there at the beginning of the half here. So third and double the number, 20. And this is LaDamian Webb, and he'll get back toward the original line of scrimmage. Peyton Wilson, the tackle for the Wolfpack. 3 and out, Roddy. Not what Florida State was looking for sure.
Certainly not, and to be honest, it stings even worse because of the fact that Chubba Purdy was able to scramble for the first down, and would have been able to scramble for the first down had the face mask not been held. So it's the little things for Florida State: hand placement, the ability to not shoot yourself in the foot, that has to be frustrating for Mike Norvell.
Third time Florida State's been 3 and out in 6 offensive possessions. Noles have got to hurry. Need one more guy out there in the punt cover unit for Alex Mastromano toward Thayer Thomas. And inside the 30, here's Thomas. Near side 45, and shoved out of bounds after a 53-yard punt. And I think Thomas is okay. Crowd here not happy. They thought it was clearly out of bounds before the shove.
It's a nice punt.
Wyatt Rector, by the way, the guy on the tackle, Roddy.
Yeah, we'll see at the end of this. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Thayer Thomas has still got a foot in bounds when he's shoved out by Wyatt Rector. I get why it looks bad and why the fans would protest it, but there was nothing nefarious about that.
The ball will be at midfield, and here's what Bailey Hockman and Thayer Thomas did in the opening 30.
Pretty good, huh? As you said,
yeah.
Florida State had 98 yards at half. Thayer Thomas had 97 of NC State's 240, so pretty good first half for both of those guys.
Devin Carter on the first down throw, picks up 4. Hamson Nasruddin shoved him out of bounds, wearing number 5 tonight for the Noles, who had over 100 tackles a year ago and then had a devastating knee injury in the regular season finale against Florida last year, and gets back on the field for the first time this year tonight. There's another throw. This is Porter Rooks, freshman from Charlotte. Picking up a handful of yards. Third down coming up.
NC State did not have a lot of success running the ball in the first half. Only 2.2 a carry for this group. So testing Florida State out wide early in this second half. Let me see what they go with here. Thayer Thomas not in the ball game. Florida Rooks in his spot.
And they're going to hand the ball to Bam Knight, and he's got the first down. Got 5 on the play to the 38. And Emmett Rice, the tackle for Florida State. Wolfpack back to the tempo game here too, Roddy.
Yep.
Here's Rooks, dropped it, picked it up, ball's loose and out of bounds. Now the question will be, did Rooks drop the initial pass? Amari Gaynor is the guy that knocked it away, but was that a forward pass that Rooks did not hold?
Getting a replay of it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a forward pass that Rooks dropped, and then
it's incomplete.
It's poked out. Honestly, though, Wes, my coach would mark that as like a quadruple minus on that one, because you dropped the pass, that's already a double minus, and then you fumbled the ball after you dropped the pass. That's a quadruple minus on that one. That one's going to be tough to watch on film.
Is that 4 minuses? Yeah. 5?
4 minuses. Yeah.
Quad? 4? Okay, 4. All right, just checking. My math's not great. You know that. Here's a Mezzi shaking free. And down toward the 32 goes Emeka Mezzi, who made a great move on the first touchdown catch. And let's check with Larisha as Mezzi is slow to the sideline here.
When I was able to talk with Emeka, he told me that every pass for him is personal. Every ball he's going to catch is very personal. There are non-negotiables that he has, and he does those things every game so that he can make sure he catches each pass.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I told you that Emeka Emezi takes catching balls very personal. He has a list of non-negotiables, and those non-negotiables I'll tell you right after this play.
All right. 3rd and 5, and a first down throw to Thayer Thomas gives him a career high tonight with 10. And another first down for NC State, Larisha.
Yeah, and those non-negotiables I was telling you all about. Right after practice, he goes and catches on jugs. He always attacks his problems, and he takes time to decompress 2 to 3 hours every day just for me time.
Oh, I tell you, Roddy, he's had a great year. Here's the first down give, and this is Knight squeezing the trigger, and Bam Knight scores. 18-yard touchdown run for the Wolfpack touchdown.
Best run of the night for the NC State Wolfpack from the running back position, and it's a zone play where Bam Knight's able to crease up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, cuts it back, is able to get in the end zone to extend the Wolfpack lead.
7 plays, 50 yards, 205, and Knight's got his 5th rushing score of the year. And Christopher Dunn can make it a 25-point Wolfpack lead, and he will. The beat goes on for the Wolfpack. They have been
versus Utah and Arizona State were canceled. Our thoughts and prayers and wishes, the best wishes go out to Herm Edwards, who was diagnosed with COVID-19.
Yeah, and Sam Pittman at Arkansas, not coaching his team tonight in the Southeastern Conference. Here's Travis Jay bouncing out across the 30 to the 32 on the return. Yeah, GAs at Cal and UCLA running around with their hair on fire, trying to put game plans together and so forth to see that ball game tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. By the way, the Bruins and Golden Bears go to work. And by the way, it brings to mind that the ACC has played 65. This game tonight, as Florida State takes over at the 32, is the 65th game to be played of the 71 as previously scheduled. There's a tackle of LaDamian Webb on first down, and that is a percentage, just so you know, of 91.5, Roddy. And in the world we're working in right now, that's pretty good. And now I know Manny Diaz said today after the game in Blacksburg that Miami was right on the line, right? but the fact that the Atlantic Coast Conference and look, every day is a new week, as one coach told me earlier this year. Here's Webb. Boy, he got knocked back right there. And Daniel Joseph and Isaiah Moore were in the mix for the Wolfpack quickly. But here's another glance.
See the interior of that NC State defense working again. But Wes, as you were saying, I mean, it's impressive what these student athletes have done in terms of being vigilant with the protocols. It's also impressive what the ACC did, building in 2 weeks of flexibility.
Yep.
The only league to do that. And now we saw with the SEC what they've had to do with their scheduling, going to a more flexible scheduling model as well.
Yeah, here's a throw to Webb on 3rd and 7, and LaDamian Webb stepped out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And that will be just shy, I believe, of the first down by a couple of yards. 4th and 2 here, Roddy.
At this point, you might as well go for it. I mean, you've already gone for 4th down a couple of times earlier in the game, one further back in your own territory than this. And if you're going to get back into this game, like Mike,
there are 2 institutions this week. Yeah, coming soon to. Oh my goodness, yes. Ontario Wilson, the catch on the 4th down try. 22nd time this year that Florida State's gone for it on 4th down. 9 of 19 coming in. They get their second conversion there tonight. Yeah, Mark guest taught this week at Clemson and Wake Forest, I believe. Right.
In the same day, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah,
morning and afternoon.
May have been. Yeah, may have been. It's a lot of post-secondary education learning going on for young America right there at the hands of Coach Packer. Here is Chubba Purdy loading up and overthrows Warren Thompson. Incomplete. So now all of a sudden 2nd and 10 for Florida State with just ahead of 8 minutes to go here in quarter 3. Well, Knowles knew coming in there were going to be a little bit of an orientation tonight for both Purdy and Rodemaker, along with those young guys in the offensive line. And they've mixed and matched as well as they could, but you had to have some plays made on the back end, too, of the throw game.
Yeah, and you saw there, Chubba Purdy was kind of motioning the running motion to Warren Thompson. He expected Thompson to keep going there across the middle.
Yep, Purdy will try and take it to the boundary, and Peyton Wilson right there. And Wilson with a word for the Knowles bench on the way back to the field.
Pull up the film on NC State, watch their defense, and not only is Peyton Wilson always around the ball, but he always has something to say when leaving the area of the football. That's a dude that loves to talk a little bit. It says he told us that it gets him up a little bit. You know, it's something that he grew up doing. Kind of get him fired up.
3rd period halfway gone. 3rd and 10 for the Noles. Low snap. And Keyshawn Helton got wrapped up by Malik Dunlap. Right at the midfield line. Roddy, you're excited about where Malik Dunlap may go, right?
I certainly am. I mean, physically, he's a corner that is not built like your normal corner. 6'4", 220 pounds. And with the exception of last week where he's taken advantage of a couple of times, has really played well at the corner position for NC State. He's got great length and enough speed to not get beat deep. And Florida State, once again, on 4th and 5, going to go for it.
Yep.
See what they get from this NC State defense.
Jay Sean Corbin in the backfield with Purdy. Here comes the pack. Purdy cuts it loose. Ontario Wilson the catch. And the tackle made by Cecil Powell in the secondary for NC State.
It's a nice route and a really nice delivery. You kind of get a little pick route on the outside. Really nice delivery by Chubba Purdy, who saw the man-to-man coverage and knew where to go with the football. Ontario Wilson has kind of been the go-to guy for Florida State here today.
Yep. 1st and 10, another low snap for Purdy to handle. Back foot and throws it away. Isaiah Moore was up in the face of Chubba Purdy.
Wes, the big thing you can say about Purdy, the young quarterback, is he has not made the crucial mistake. The game plan has been fairly conservative with him in the game until really this drive. They opened it up a little bit and thrown it a little bit more, but he has not made the big mistake that Kenny Dillingham talked about and wanting to avoid with a true freshman at quarterback.
Yep. LaDamian Webb staying in the backfield with Purdy. And that one got batted in the air. Contested in space with Shaheem Battle on a ball intended for Cameron McDonald. Larissa?
Well, you guys were talking about him not making those mistakes. Well, when we were talking to the offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham, he said some of the things that he tells his QBs is to trust your eyes. Don't make a bad play horrible, even if you get spooked, and just do your job.
Yeah. The don't make a bad play horrible is one that I'll take through the rest of the year, Roddy. I mean, how many times you've seen the bad play horrible? That's Daniel Joseph shaking up for the Wolfpack, by the way. It was so fitting for him to say, you know, we got 3 rules. And Kenny Dillingham, by the way, comes at you high energy even when you're on a Zoom call, talking to him a couple days before the game. Trust your eyes and don't make a bad play horrible. And I thought, well, now that is telling me the truth right there.
Absolutely. You know, when he was talking about being a true freshman and getting spooked, I can remember those moments where you get a look or a blitz in a game where you have no idea where a guy just came from or what's going on. Everything's just happening too fast, and your eyes get wide, and in those situations, it's easy to lose your composure. And he talked about, hey, I've told my quarterbacks that when that happens, when you get spooked like that, just throw the ball away. Make sure it's 2nd and 10 Florida State, not 1st and 10 NC State. And Chubba Purdy's done a decent job of that today.
Yep. 3rd down. And the Noles 2 for 10 on 3rd and 10. Here's Purdy. Flipped out in the flat. LaDamian Webb taken down inside the 30 around the 29. Yard and change away from the 1st down. On 4th, tackle made by Tyler Baker-Williams.
We're going to leave the offense on the field and go for it again. Looks like we're going to get Wildcat here.
Yep. Jaysean Corbin with Preston Daniel and Cameron McDonald both lodged to that left side. And Corbin finds the cutback lane, and Jaysean Corbin scores for Florida State. 28-yard run for Corbin, and the Noles in the end zone for the first time tonight.
They finally gash him on the left side of the offense. Jaysean Corbin makes the man miss in the secondary and is able to get in for the touchdown. They've gone with that unbalanced formation with the tight end to the same side as the 3 receivers. They've gone to that a number of times. And Jaysean Corbin able to get it in the end zone there. And Florida State's going to go for 2 to try and close down this margin.
Yep, turn it into a 3-score trip. See if they can draw it to 17 here with about 20 minutes of game time left in Raleigh. Rodemaker on a throwback and intercepted. Peyton Wilson picks off the 2-point play. If he'd had a full head of steam, he might have scored 2 points. Instead, it's a 28-9 game with 5:14 left in the 3rd.
Seemed like Peyton Wilson was all over this play, was not fooled at all by what looked to be the tackle throwback play. Excuse me, they were going to Cameron McDonald, the tight end throwback.
Oh, center judge called it incomplete.
If I'm Peyton Wilson, I'm looking like, come on, man, you're just hating me. Yeah, it looked like the right call on the replay.
Oh, me. So it's a 28-9 game with 5 minutes to go, and a night where we've seen NC State have the ball for really 6 full possessions and score 4 touchdowns, Roddy.
And here's where I would expect Florida State to start to get a little more creative. I don't know if the onside kick is in play here, but as you go down the line, maybe with your blitzes, you start to get a little bit more exotic. And if you have some opportunities in special teams, you start to take those as well.
Yep. And now we get a timeout by Florida State. Mike Norvell burns one here with 5:14 to play. And he's talking to John Papuchis there, his special teams coordinator, who we get a chance to visit with. And it's always very informative to talk to Coach Papuchis, because, Roddy, he tells you a lot about kind of what they're seeing, what they want to do, and maybe from a personnel standpoint, what they'll try and do. Like last week in the ball game we had against Pittsburgh, they thought about, you know, kind of where they were in terms of their punt block, and then he told us this week prior to NC State, hey, look, Pittsburgh came into that ball game last week, changed everything they did, and we had to kind of go back to alternate plans when it came to the punt.
Yeah, and Mike Norvell's teams at Memphis were always so good on special teams, and a lot of times because so many of the guys on the team, offense and defense, touch special teams, that's where the culture of a program is really instilled. In Florida State with Mike Norvell and John Papuchis really puts an emphasis on it.
All right, let's see what happens here. After the timeout, Groothouse kicks it away. And here is Bam Knight trying to take it to the far side, and will be brought down just shy of the 20 by Jarvis Brownlee. So 5:07 to go, and we start talking about kind of where this game settles in tonight. You start tinkering around about yards per play, Roddy.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier, but last year allowing 5.4 yards per play, that was 5th in the ACC, and their overall numbers didn't look great because they played the most plays of anybody in the country last year. So their total numbers didn't look great, but this has been disappointing. The regression, 6.8 yards per play this year, is worst in the league. And this was a unit that that we thought was going to be a lot better coming into the season.
Porter Rooks shoved out of bounds. Got a yard, I think, to the 21. By the way, I don't know that we've seen Thayer Thomas since the collision with Rector out of bounds a moment ago.
We've not.
In the last series.
I don't believe we have.
Yep. 2nd and 9. Ricky Person now has joined Bailey Hockman in that NC State backfield. And Person tries the left side. I think Robert Cooper got a hand in there, or Emmett Rice, either one, to spin Person around. Be a loss on the play and be 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, in the run game, Emmett Rice has had a nice game today. He's been in the backfield a number of times. We've called his name a lot.
Yep.
He and Robert Cooper and up the middle, Fabian Lovett, have done a really nice job controlling this NC State run game.
So 3rd and 11 for the Wolfpack, who were 8 of 10 tonight on 3rd down. They had hit 11 of their last 22 coming in, but tonight's been really good. Hockman looks and bounced it toward the intended receiver, C.J. Riley, incomplete. And for the first time tonight, 3 and out goes NC State.
On the back end of this, Bailey Hockman takes a pretty nice shot. Again, Emmett Rice. Clean hit right to the chest with the shoulder. You saw Emmett Rice checking, though. He was looking at the referees just to make sure.
Tim Beck talking to his quarterback is Trenton Gill, who is NC State's career leader in punting average with 46.6. He's 4th in the ACC at 45 yards. Punts it to Travis Jay. Jay, the running catch, fumbled the ball, and the Wolfpack's got it. Tried to make a play to Travis Jay. And Anthony Smith gathered it for the Wolfpack. Heck of a play by the freshman from Maryland, Smith.
Yeah, and he said Florida State needed to make special teams special. And this is about the opposite of that. Travis Jay just not able to secure the punt, and you need all the chances you can get when your offense has been struggling the way this Florida State offense has today. Although with a little momentum on the last drive, it would have been a big drive to secure the ball and give them good field position.
Second turnover of the ball game for the Noles on the fumble, and Knight goes to work for no gain. So it'll be second down in the full 10. Well, you're right. The NC State run game at 131.7 is only got 69 yards of rushing prior to the start of the drive. Here's Hockman. Back foot throw. Caught. Angeline. First down at the 24.
And this is the second time they've gone to that fake smoke screen or fake the orbit motion pass where the guys are blocking out front and then snuck Angeline up the seam. They missed it the first time, got it that time.
Yep. Out on the perimeter. This is Knight. And he got tackled high by Brendan Gant. So 2nd and 10 comes up, but back to the Angeline completion.
Angeline wide open down the sideline. Hockman, if he hits him in stride, he may be going for 6. He's got 1 or 2 guys out in front of him, but had to hold up to catch that one.
Hockman with time now, buys some more real estate, and will throw it away, incomplete. So 3rd and 9 will be coming up. Pressured by Josh Kando, the redshirt junior from Baltimore at defensive end tonight for Florida State. I still think the whole priority of the strong finish is out there for NC State tonight, Roddy. Even with 8 of 11 on 3rd down and a lead like this late in the 3rd.
Yeah, finishing strong doesn't see a score. Finishing strong is just playing up to your standard the whole time.
Here's Thomas breaking away and into the end zone. Thayer Thomas is having a career night in catches, yards, and now he's got a 2nd touchdown.
He was spreading the love a little bit just to, earlier on the drive, letting some other guys get some burn, but makes a guy miss in the backfield, gets a block, and then outruns everybody else to the end zone. Thayer Thomas has had himself a day.
24-yard touchdown pass. And the fumble comes home to roost for Florida State. It's 35-9. The Noles had a 3 and out, and then Jay fumbled the punt. Smith fell on it, and then Thayer Thomas is in the end zone.
And all that came after Florida State was able to put the ball in the end zone themselves. An offense that had struggled for much of the game was able to get the ball in the end zone. And so Mike Norvell must have felt like they had some momentum. But as you said, the dropped punt leads into an NC State score on the other end and completely changes the feel of this game.
Well, Bailey Hockman having a career night. 24 of 30, 265, and a career high 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Thayer Thomas. And the Wolfpack now with a commanding advantage. The kick again toward Travis Jay.
Development of Bailey Hockman. How he's looked since he took over the starting job again from Devin Leary after Leary's injury has been incredible. And let's not remember, this is a player that transferred to NC State, took some lumps a year ago, and then Tim Beck comes in as the offensive coordinator. They don't get a full spring together. They don't get those summer workouts together. He's not able to have those in-person meetings. And so he struggles out of the gate this year, but as he's gotten more comfortable and Tim Beck's gotten more comfortable with him, has played really well the past couple of weeks.
Yep, you're right about that. I was scribbling together some notes in terms of his first and second half. He came into the ball game in the last 2 games at 63% and averaging about 9 yards an attempt. Here's Purdy scrambling from the pocket, able to make 1 miss, but not 2. So Chubba Purdy will have 3rd down. Peyton Wilson made the stop. But Roddy, his first half was so good. You start tallying it up in 2.5 games. He'd thrown for almost 700 yards and 5 scores. Well, he hadn't backed off in the second half. It's just come at a slower pace than what NC State was doing in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, they haven't gone with the tempo, so that helps you there. But it's been quite the performance for Bailey Hockman the past couple of weeks.
3rd down and 5 here now for Purdy and the Noles. NC State looks like they're going to bring the pressure, and they do. Purdy trying to find time. Retraces back here to the near side and fumbled the ball, but fumbled it out of bounds. Pressure by Peyton Wilson. And Peyton Wilson's helmet looked like he did yard work today.
He had the low snap, and then Chubba Purdy is just running for his life, not able to get away from Peyton Wilson. You get the fumble caused by Cecil Powell. It's going to set up it's like another 4th down, 4th and 1 for Florida State, and they're leaving the offense on the field.
Yep. Purdy will stay out there. Now he'll give way to Jashawn Corbin. And Corbin trying to get the 4th down, and 2nd and 3rd effort will get it to him. Well done by Corbin and the Noles, because it looked like the Wolfpack with Savion Jackson and Malik Dunlap might have had him dead to rights. Florida State keeps the ball. 1/4 next from Raleigh. With Wildcat on the first snap, and the ball got fumbled, and I think Jashawn Corbin fell back on it. And
it's just fumbled exchange. It actually looked like LaDamian Webb had it in his pocket, and it was just poked out by an NC State defender. Right? Looked like a clean handoff. Jashawn Corbin did a nice job of handing it off cleanly, but still ended up on the ground in the backfield for Florida State.
So here's Purdy on 2nd and 10. And Chubba trying to find time and won't get it. Wolfpack gets in the backfield, and I thought for it was 6, but it was actually 5. It was Calvin Hart who had a sack earlier in the ball game at Chapel Hill, coming up with a tackle here.
With a 3-man route, and Chubba Purdy was looking for a deep over coming across the field, but NC State sniffed it out, and the pressure was able to get to the freshman quarterback.
The blood moon red jerseys with the black numerals. 5 and 6 could be the same guy if you're not careful.
Those are your favorites, right? Numbers at
Come
a
on
time.
now. We're almost home. Here's Purdy scrambling from the pocket. And he will, I believe, get the first down on forward he got back to the 41. Or to the 39, rather, and it'll be short of the first down. Malik Dunlap comes up and makes the tackle with Daniel Joseph. Let's check quickly here with Larisha. I think she's got an update for us. Larisha.
Well, wide receiver Emeka Emezi saw him walk off and head to the locker room and told he is questionable to return.
All right, thank you.
Yes, he left the game after having that big collision with Robert Cooper. The 330-pound defensive tackle fell on top of him and has not returned to the game since.
So 4th and 10. Purdy And it'll be well short. Keyshawn Helton made the catch. Jakeem Harris the tackle. And we'll get a turnover on downs. NC State 42-yard line. 12.5 to go in the Wolfpack. Leading 35-9 here tonight against Florida State. And the first down give is a run play, and that's Jordan Houston, a sophomore from Waldorf, Maryland, getting his 31st carry of the year, and a flag goes down on the play. Or no, that's Trent Penix, 26. Beg your pardon. Penix, the sophomore from Raleigh, checked in. That's the other thing. We talked about Knight and Person at the top, Roddy. There's Penix and Houston, who are both capable of also providing a spark in the ground game for this team.
Especially Jordan Houston has not gotten going this year, but it's mainly because Ricky Person and Bam Knight have played so well.
Sportsmanlike conduct fouls by both teams. Number 87 offense, number 26 defense. Those fouls offset. It is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game for both players. The down counts. Take it down.
So, offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct calls. Dave Doran trying to get career win 52 tonight. He would tie Dick Sheridan for second all time at NC State. Little reverse, and here's Rooks. Porter Rooks inside the 30 to the 29. That'll be a first down.
How about NC State up in this game, well in hand, still going with the reverse, and Porter Rooks with the ball in his hands. That is something that the Wolfpack are really excited about. I mean, when you talk to this coaching staff about the young guys that have really impressed, Porter Rooks' name comes out early and often.
Yep, played at Myers Park in Charlotte. That's Rooks coming to the slot on the near side. Here's Hockman. Deep drop and a throw back toward the tight end Angeline, and that ball called a fumble. It is called a fumble, and Florida State with the recovery. But I suspect there'll be a conversation about this.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wes. I don't think there's any way that's a fumble. That's an incomplete pass all the way.
Sidney Williams had the recovery here, but
so he never has control of it.
Never had the ball.
Yeah, that's going to be
on the ground.
Yeah.
We get a break. Take it with them in Raleigh. On the Raleigh campus, Jordan Houston's come back in the ball game. The ruling on the field was catch and fumble after review. Incomplete was the change. So here is Hockman with Houston in the backfield. Bailey loads and throws, and broken up, incomplete. Brownlee back there on a ball. Was it intercepted? Jarvis Brownlee may have come up with the pick here. Roddy, this is two plays right here they may need multiple looks at.
Well, if this is a catch, this is WRU material. It bounces around, gets caught in between his legs. It never touches the ground, Wes. That's an interception.
That is wide receiver material. Yes, it is. Well done on your part to identify. So Jarvis Brownlee's going to get the interception here. Kudos to Roddy Jones, who had not only the breakdown of it, but also the call on the field, if you will. Interception for Brownlee, and now Florida State from its 20. And Corbin trying to get something going. Pushes it for about 8. It'll be second and short. What a heck of a play by Brownlee to stay with it, Roddy.
It's an incredible play. I always debate whether or not like he felt it coming and grabbed it with his legs, or it ended up being luck. But either way, the awareness to hold it between his legs once it got there. So he was able to secure it. That was one of the best plays I've seen all season.
Corbin, by the way, picks up the first down. Brownlee, another one of these younger guys out of Carroll City in Miami that Adam Fuller's got to be excited about. Getting a lot more time because of some injuries. Here is Purdy on the keep, and he got smashed. Vi Jones, whose dad played football at East Carolina and later with the Dallas Cowboys, Robert Jones, on the stop. He transferred from Southern California to Raleigh. 2nd and 10, ahead of 10 minutes to play in Raleigh tonight. Purdy buying time, looks down the field, and wide open, Ontario Wilson will score. How about that? Chubba Purdy tosses the long touchdown pass to Ontario Wilson for Florida State.
Well, the freshman keeps his composure, but it's a 3-man route, and Ontario Wilson just slips right between the 2 defenders in cover 3. See, the corner goes to the outside, forgets about the inside man. Safety doesn't come over to help until late, and Ontario Wilson able to get into the end zone. But a nice job of Chubba Purdy keeping his eyes downfield and creating an explosive play for Florida State. It's really their best moment of the game.
69-yard touchdown pass. And the point after is good from Parker Grotehouse. And it's a 35-16 game. So Wilson gets his 2nd touchdown of the year. And Florida State strikes quickly.
All that comes on the backs of the interception by Brownlee as well. And look, we talked about this earlier. Florida State's not completely out of this game. They get a stop and another quick score and then make things interesting. But Dave Doran talked to us about finishing and finishing strong. The last sequence is certainly one that he is going to put in front of his team, no matter how this game ends. Put in front of his team is, hey, this is not the standard that we should perform to, even in the 4th quarter of games that feel like they're over.
Ontario Wilson now a career high night for Florida State in receiving yardage. And let's see what happens here.
NC State's got the hands team on the field. They are expecting onside kick.
Yep. And Parker Grotehouse will kick it through the end zone. And the Wolfpack. And here's Bailey Hockman, who's having a career night, but Wolfpack's got to keep it going. Big plays by Florida State and some turnovers as Bam Knight is stood up after a gain of about 7 on the play.
And Wes, I think this is about as big a drive as you can have in a 3-score game, because NC State has really controlled this entire game, and if you're limping to the finish,
right,
it's not going to feel the same way when you go back and watch film on either Sunday or Monday. And for Florida State, you want to climb back into this thing, and if not get back into it to win it, at least make it respectable down the stretch. So I think this is a pretty big drive for both teams in terms of how they're going to feel about this game at the end.
2nd down and 2, and Knight will be short, I believe, of the first down. Sidney Williams, the freshman from New Orleans. And here again, we go back to the finishing strong. The start last Friday night against Miami, no problem. The start tonight, no problem. But the tail end last Friday night, not good. And that's what Dave Doran has been talking to his team about, job one being all week. You'd have to get through the ball game, right, to arguably get to the hardest part. And as you said a moment ago, maybe here we are with 9 minutes and change to go.
Yeah, and obviously the two games are not similar in the way they're going. They were up in that Miami game, and Miami stormed back in a game that was really back and forth. This one feels different, but obviously when you have a team that has the struggles finishing down the stretch, that is sort of ingrained in your DNA. Once you finish once, it gets easier to finish again and again and again. There's just a standard that you need to hold throughout the game and really in the fourth quarter.
Knight gets the first down. Amari Gaynor lost his gold helmet, so off for a play he will go. You see the Wolfpack just fine with letting the clock wind its way inside of 8 minutes. And man, Bailey Hockman has no problem at all. Take this right down. Angeline in motion. And here goes Knight again. Bam Knight to the perimeter inside the 40. Inside the 30, and a flag thrown. He keeps his feet inside the 15. I know there was second and third effort, Roddy, and there might have been fourth thrown in on top by Knight.
Bam Knight, this is his own play to the right side, makes the guy miss in the hole, and then he holds off the safety, Sidney Williams, for a while. I think you're going to get a face mask on Bam Knight there, though. He turns the head of Williams, and you see the flag come in. I think that's what the call is going to be.
15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The yardage will still be good for a first down.
So it's a first down run for Knight. But the penalty will push the Wolfpack from inside the 20 back out toward the 40.
Yeah, and you can't fault Bam Knight for that. As a running back who's had that called on them before, let's just say, look, it's the defender's fault for lowering his head into my hand. I mean,
oh really?
Absolutely.
That's where we're going. Okay.
I'm gonna stick up for my running backs on that.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Check that one. Here's Jordan Houston checking into the ball game. He'll get a couple of yards. Now wait a second. I want to make sure I've got this right.
Yep.
Again, late at night, folks can really learn some things from you. I found this out, doing a couple games like this. All right, so the defender is responsible for lowering his head into your hand.
Well, look, the stiff arm is going to go out, and you should get it right in the middle of your chest. If you want to put your face mask in my hand, that's up to you, okay? That's not on me. I'm trying to get you off of me. It's an unfair call right there.
Oh, my gosh. Larissa, you're going to have to bail me out here, or maybe help Roddy out. I'm not sure. Here's Houston on 2nd and 7, and now Houston will have a first down run and more for the Wolfpack. And Houston. Good looking run, Roddy.
Yeah, once again, they're just going to that zone. They've got the back offset to the same side that they're going to the zone a little.
Here, now this is the face mask on Bam Knight, but you're telling me it's Sidney Williams' fault for dropping his helmet into Bam's hand?
Well, see, that time Bam goes high with the stiff arm, and if Sidney Williams doesn't grab the back of Bam Knight, then that hand doesn't stay up there. So the running back actually did nothing wrong. He was a victim in this whole thing.
Oh my gosh! 1st and 10, and I want to tell you, just great work by Adam Bryant, our director, to capture that football oddity. Bam Knight runs into Fabian Lovett.
I've never seen face mask on a running back. I mean, it's always...
Even when it was called on you?
Well, look, it gets called... Yeah, it was called on me. I admitted it. And it gets called from time to time, and deservingly so. I mean, that is a face mask penalty. That was not on Bam Knight, though. I mean, I got to defend the running back. He goes high with the stiff arm. He gets grabbed. His hand gets stuck. It's not on him. It's fine.
Good heavens. 5:20 to play. 2nd and 9 for the Wolfpack. I had no idea we'd get into this nuance tonight. Here's Knight trying to circle outside, and boy, Florida State rallies to the ball nicely. Fabian Lovett, for a guy at 315 playing inside, Roddy, has moved outside as well tonight as an inside guy I've seen all year. Flag down, by the way.
50-yard penalty. Second down.
So another big 15-yard penalty against the Wolfpack here. And now the penalty's been declined. And there's a look at Lovett, who is listed at 6'4", 315, transfer from Mississippi State. And under 5 minutes to play.
NC State's done a nice job on this drive of just draining the clock lower and lower. And that's why Mike Norvell declines the penalty, because NC State's just been taking time off.
Hockman toward the end zone and overthrows the intended receiver, C.J. Riley. Brownlee defending for Florida State. Don't forget, coming up next, the huddle after dark, Roddy. No tie required with Cornette, Manuel, and Coach Richt. All the details.
Mac had double duty today doing the huddle and then a game.
That's it. Here's Christopher Dunn trying a 32-yard field goal. And the kick by Dunn is good. That's his 8th make in 10 tries this year. So Christopher Dunn extends the lead with 4:35 to play here in Raleigh with the field goal.
Talked about before that drive that it was an important drive for NC State, and they kept the ball on the ground and really reestablished that they were going to finish. The penalty hurt them down the stretch, and obviously they settled for a field goal. But the running of Bam Knight, they really had not had a ton of success over the course of this game on the ground. That drive certainly their best. A lot of zone, and Dave Dorn has got to be happy with the way his team responded in what was a really important drive. It took 5 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, and I would say the job of finishing strong, that priority point, probably get a plus for that, right?
Yeah, I would say so. In that situation, when you get the ball back and Florida State's got a little momentum, you just want to take the life out of the game just by running the football, draining the clock, and getting down and getting points out of it, and that's exactly what NC State did.
Yep. So Travis J. deep for Florida State. And he'll get a running start at the 2. Trying to get to the far side. And across the 25 to about the 27 goes the redshirt freshman from Greenville, Florida.
So we've seen Florida State here today, and ultimately when Mike Norvell gets this thing rolling, here's what the offense is going to look like. You're going to see a lot of 11 and 21 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end, 2 backs, 1 tight end. You're going to see a lot of unbalanced formations, some quads, pistol, wildcat. In the run game, a lot of power, a lot of zone read, some quarterback run as well. And then a big thing that they're going to have in the pass game is a lot of RPO. You're going to see a lot of screens, but the running backs are a huge part of the pass game. And remember, Mike Norvell had a 1,000-yard rusher in 3 of the 4 years he was at Memphis. One of those years he had 2,000-yard rushers and a 1,000-yard receiver every single year he was there. So once he gets this thing rolling, Mike Norvell is going to have this as one of the most exciting offenses in the conference.
By Jones, by the way, the tackle of Purdy. And I've enjoyed our visits with Coach Norvell and his staff, Roddy, to just get a feel for kind of, you know, what has transpired. I think he, pretty candid with us about, this past week and kind of what they were going through, and interesting to kind of hear those storylines from Florida State.
It certainly is, and we often get a side of coaches that you may not see in press conferences. Sometimes it's more honest, it's a more intimate setting, and we see these coaches over and over. And Mike Norvell, while he acknowledged the challenges that they are facing and they have faced over the course of this season and this week, he is incredibly excited about what this place can be. And here's how far they are going to have to come. In 53 games at Memphis, he only had one game scoring under 20 points. Already at Florida State, 4 times the offense has failed to put up 20 points or more, and they're in danger of that today. But that stat should show you that this offense is going to get going. It's just a matter of how fast can you get the guys in and how fast can you get the familiarity with it.
Here's Purdy trying to cut it loose, and look at LaDamian Webb make a couple guys miss. And we've got an injured NC State player about the 36-37 yard line on the first down play. And trying to get a read on C.J. Clark. Hard to tell. Who they're tending to. Looks like 52, and that would be the redshirt freshman Clark from New London, North Carolina, and it is. Well, you look ahead. If NC State wins tonight, they'll get to 5-3, Roddy. And you know who comes to town next week here? Liberty. 8-0 after beating Western Carolina 58-14. Malik Willis had 403 yards of total offense and 5 scores today for Hugh Freeze. Who, by the way, that team's 2-0 against the ACC.
Liberty's undefeated in ACC play, so
yeah.
That is certainly going to be a challenge.
Here's Purdy escaping the pocket on first down and into NC State territory, and then takes the slide about the 41 of the Wolfpack. 23-yard run for Chubba Purdy.
Chubba Purdy had about 3 acres of space to run in this one. NC State secondary was about 30 yards downfield, and Chubba Purdy ran for about that far before he encountered any resistance.
Purdy flushed again from the pocket, and he'll run again inside the 30, and another slide toward the 20. By the way, Roddy, I know how often you remark it when we get to some of these venues and it's a little chilly. Purdy's wearing the hand warmer tonight in about a 50-degree evening in Raleigh.
Absolutely.
He would be, right?
It's under 60, you got to have the hand warmer, especially the quarterback.
Larisha, is it that cold tonight on the field? Oh, me. Timeout taken by NC State after the 2 Purdy runs, by the way. So Mike Norvell will talk to his team. By the way, Florida State gets Clemson off a bye week next Saturday at noon in Tallahassee. Don't forget the Huddle follows us here on ACC Network.
Trevor Lawrence going to be back in that game against,
that's right,
Florida State will have against Clemson. A rested Trevor Lawrence, a refreshed Trevor Lawrence, and a Clemson team that's coming off a loss to Notre Dame that is going to look to make a statement. And let's just say last year, the game against Florida State, Clemson was looking to make a statement as well, and the statement was well received.
Inside the 25, 1st and 10 with 2.5 to go. Purdy again flush from the pocket. Wolfpack doesn't give up the play, though, and he'll be taken down for maybe a half-yard gain. Looked like Tyler Baker-Williams, who had the interception in the first half, was the guy that was there first for NC State. Roddy, what have we seen? I mean, obviously the Devin Leary injury as we get a timeout taken here by Florida State. The Devin Leary injury maybe sidetracked the Wolfpack, but they've bounced back. But the Miami loss, yes, tough. Came back tonight. They're going to get their 5th win. We talk about Liberty in a non-conference game. Dave Dort's team's done a really good job, though, of improving as 2020 has developed, it looks like.
They certainly have, especially when you consider the injuries that they've had on the offensive line and the shuffling that they've had to do there. The injury that they've had at quarterback with Devin Leary, who was playing at an unbelievable level before he got hurt. And then you stick in Bailey Hockman, and with Bailey Hockman's ability to come in and play as well as he has, I think Dave Doran looks at this season and is going to look at this season as one where his team really developed a ton. Obviously, you have Liberty, and then you go to Syracuse and get Georgia Tech. So the Liberty game could honestly go either way. That's going to be a tough game, as we saw against Virginia Tech. But even if that doesn't go your way, if you win the last couple and you end up as a 7-win team in a year where you're playing 10 ACC games, well, that's a heck of a year.
Yep. Especially with the way you've had to kind of mix and match the line, the quarterback situation. You've had some injuries, and not to mention what every school in America deals with every week, right, Roddy? The unknown in testing.
Absolutely.
Yep. 2nd and 9 for Purdy and the Noles out of their last time out, and a throw to the end zone, incomplete. And now a flag thrown on a ball intended for Warren Thompson.
I think Malik Dunlap got a little too strong over there at the corner position.
Defense, 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
The penalty number tonight. That is going to be 6 on NC State for 70 yards. Florida State has 5 for 51. So 1st and goal it is at the 9 for Purdy and the Noles. Trying to run from the pocket, slipped away from the first wave. Now throws, and it is caught, but a flag is thrown. The catch made by Wyatt Rector. And there was no signal given, I don't believe, of a touchdown. Was it, Roddy?
No, I did not see one.
And Stuart Mullins' crew's going to huddle here.
Pass interference, number 6, offense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Pass interference against Keyshawn Helton. We may have to see this one again to find out what happened.
It usually happens when you get one of those pick plays. That one was a little bit later than that.
Helton's talking to Cecil Powell here.
So let's watch the end of this. Keyshawn Helton, number 6, is there in the slot. He goes into the end zone. He's at just to the right side of that K, and it's like a little hand fighting. Maybe he boxed out the defender so he couldn't make a play on the ball. It's the only thing I can think of.
Here's a throw to the end zone, and Thompson, the great catch. Is he in? Yes. They give Warren Thompson the touchdown. With Malik Dunlap defending, this is a heck of a catch.
We've seen some good ones from this Florida State team. This battle just a second ago, Thompson gets pushed out of bounds. Here he goes over the 6'4" Malik Dunlap and is able to make the catch. Oh. That left foot looks like it gets down just ahead of the right one, which is on the sideline. There's no doubt that the right foot ends on the sideline, but I think the left is down just before it, at least from that look. And
that touchdown will be awarded. Yep. Touchdown's going to be awarded. A great catch with 141 to go. And a 2-point try here now for Florida State. Purdy, running out of room, will throw it away. Tried to dial up something in the back end zone, couldn't come up with it. So the 24-yard touchdown pass to Thompson makes it a 16-point game with 101 seconds to play. 7 plays, 74 yards, and 247. And this is a great catch by Thompson.
It's fantastic. It's two big players going up, and the ability to get the foot down inbounds, that left foot. Great positioning by Warren Thompson, and that's the kind of potential the former four-star has shown over the course of his career. It's the kind of potential that the coaches have been looking for. When you make plays like that, that's how you get the trust of a true freshman quarterback.
Well, and here's the thing too: if you're Kenny Dillingham tonight, you want to take some positives from this. Chubba Purdy's made more plays with his feet than you probably expected him to, right? That's number one. Number two, he's had some guys step up to bat for him. Warren Thompson being one of them, Ronnie.
Yeah, all in all, we have not seen as many drops as they've shown over the course of the season. So that has been a positive for sure as we get the timeout from Florida State to set up this onside kick. Has to be NC State. Florida State's...
Yeah, NC State. Florida State's out of timeouts.
Right.
Second of the
so
half.
The Wolfpack got to look at it.
Timeout.
Well, stay tuned after the ball game. Jordan Cornett's got everybody involved for the huddle. Miami a 1-point winner at Blacksburg on a game that Manny Diaz said afterwards Miami walked a fine line to play because of availability from their personnel. They outscored the Hokies 22-10 the last 35 minutes of the game. North Carolina Wake Forest had an unbelievable ball game.
It's fantastic.
Sam Howell, by the way, tied an ACC record for most passing touchdowns in a game with 6. He set a record, first quarterback to throw for 6 and run for 1 in a conference game. And it's the third best performance yardage-wise in a single game in ACC history, behind Deshaun Watson and Stephen Morris of Miami. Here's the dribble, and the ball is picked up on the bounce. And NC State's got it. And that is Max Fisher, a converted wide receiver who's been moved to safety about a month ago. It's a heck of a play.
Max Fisher, it is a heck of a play, and he had an idea of taking that one to the house. Able to make a man miss. It was a really nice heads-up play. He's the only guy in the middle there having to deal with the two kickers. He's able to snag that ball and secure this game for his team. You see Dave Doran with the smile, knowing that Max Fisher had his eyes on the end zone. His eyes got big when he saw that lane.
Yep. Ball at the 21 of Florida State here, and NC State with the Noles out of timeouts. Bailey Hockman's just going to take a couple of knees here. Notre Dame, by the way, flexed again, Roddy. 14 straight wins for the Irish at BC. Virginia beat Louisville. Cards turned it over 3 times. Virginia ran the ball for 165 yards as well. So, and if you weren't with us during the week, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech tonight postponed. Became the 6th ball game to have to be rescheduled, and it has been pushed back to the 2nd Saturday in December on the 12th, which has now got more than a couple games on it, as they say.
That's why the flexibility was built in to allow it to happen. Seeing what's happened in other leagues without that flexibility. The Pac-12's having to schedule games in less than 48 hours notice, so you have to really commend the league. And you have to commend Dave Doran's team here today. They came in as heavy favorites against Florida State, and I thought they performed really well, especially when the game, early in the game, both offensively and defensively. But if you're Florida State, there's some things to build on from the 4th quarter. Chubba Purdy running the football, a couple of nice throws, the catch from Warren Thompson, the interception by Jarvis Brownlee. There's some things to build off of and things that can help this Mike Norvell team feel pretty good about how they finished down the stretch.
You bet. Bailey Hockman throws for 265 tonight, 3 touchdowns. Thayer Thomas, 11 catches, 135 and 2 scores. Bam Knight, nearly 100 yards and 1 on the ground. NC State a winner with Roddy Jones, Larissa Thomas, our producer Aaron Owen.